Oh my goodness, you're kidding me. Okay, I give up, guys. That's game over. Wildlife photographers swear that prime lenses make a world of difference in the image quality of your photograph. However, is it possible that it's a little overrated? While primes do undoubtedly turn out better, I think most of us would be hard-pressed to see the difference between a zoom lens and a prime lens if compared. So today I'm going to be comparing images side by side that were shot with a telephoto prime lens or a telephoto zoom lens from your favorite wildlife photography YouTubers and seeing if I can tell the difference. I had my prep editor prepare me images gathered from other wildlife photography creators to use for this comparison, so I've never seen these before. Let's hop into it. All right, so let's check out this first one from one of your favorites, Bayou Josh. Let's see what he's got to offer. Oh my gosh. What? Both of these are gorgeous. I am completely baffled right now that one of these was taken with a prime versus a zoom lens. Now, in my best guess, I'm gonna have to guess that this photo was taken with the prime lens as opposed to the other image. And the reason for me thinking that is because you can see just in the body fade of the bird, just how sharp the aperture must have been there. So I don't imagine this being able to be shot with the zoom lens, but truly this is not an easy choice. I mean, either one could go either way, but like I said, I think that that body fade really lends itself to being shot with a prime lens. So let's see if I was right. And checking this out. Oh, I was wrong. Oh my gosh, what? That is insane. So the image where the body was faded on it was not shot with a prime lens. That was a zoom lens shot versus the other one was shot with a prime lens. Oh my goodness, my mind is baffled right now. That is incredible. That just goes to show that really, I mean, both prime lenses and zoom lenses are super viable options in wildlife photography. So much more of it comes down to your use of it and knowing how to use it well in order to get this amazing shot that you see before you. So props by you, Josh, for the amazing shot as well. And let's move on to the next shot. So the next sequence of images is by a guy named Watts Wildlife on Wildlife Photography YouTube, amazing photographer as well, and let's see what he's got to offer us today. This one I think is a little bit of an easier choice. I personally think that this image right here is gotta be the prime lens because it just is a lot smoother, it's a lot cleaner. The detail as I kind of blow this up and look at it is just a little bit sharper with that prime lens versus with the zoom lens. It just is a little bit less detailed, like you can just see a little bit less detail in it, and it's definitely not as sharp. That's gonna be my gut feeling on this one. Let's see if I'm right. Ooh, okay, so on this one I was right. I was right that this one was shot with the zoom lens and the other was shot with the prime lens. And this one I think it's a little bit more obvious than the last one for sure. Like I said, the details really highlight it in a spectacular way, as well as just the fade and the focus and the depth of field just looks a little bit more obvious in this one. Let's move into the next image and see what we got there. So the next one comes from Duade Patone out in Australia, and he's got some fantastic images of Australian magpie. This is one of them, and let's see the other. Here's the other. Oh man, that's a hard choice. These are definitely two different styles of images. I'm gonna go with this one with the green background, the more green in the image being the prime shot lens. I think it's a little bit sharper, a little bit more detail in the lens glass or in the image, therefore reflecting the lens glass, as well as the depth of field. It's hard to tell because the background's so far stood off, but it does look a little bit more shallow than the one that's at ground level. So I think that's gonna be my guess. Let's see if we're right. Wrong again? Oh my goodness. Yeah, this one was really hard to tell because I mean, we have two completely different scenarios, to be honest, but man, I still couldn't get it right. I still couldn't nail it. It goes to show again that prime and zoom lenses can be very comparable in a lot of scenarios, and it really can be difficult to tell the difference. So it goes to show again, even though, you know, in number 2, I was kind of looking at the depth of field, and for me, that was the biggest telltale sign of what I thought led this to be a zoom versus the other being a prime. But It goes to show again that depth of field is not only influenced by, how low of an f-stop number you can get, but it's so largely influenced by the way that you shoot the image and so many other factors as well. So great job, Duane Baton. And let's move on to the next one. So this is by a guy named Gary Howard of Holy Fire Photography. Ooh, that's a hard comparison. With the IBIS, you don't have much to work with in terms of context and knowing kind of what to look at to try to make a distinction. The other one, you do have some stuff to look at. Oh man, I'm scared I'm gonna get this wrong again. Let's see. I'm gonna go with this one being a prime lens and the other one being shot with a zoom lens. Oh my goodness. Oh, wrong again. Oh my gosh. You guys, this just goes to prove that prime versus zoom. Can I spot the difference? No, I can't. I'm failing. My success rate is 25% at the moment. It goes to show that zoom lenses can be phenomenal choices if you know how to use them well and if you get a good zoom lens, right? Now let's hop into Jamin Hunter Taylor's images. So next week he's actually coming on the podcast with me for a return. I know you guys loved seeing him on here before, so he's coming back for another round. So I'm excited to have him. But he sent me two images. One is of a pair of common redpolls, the other of a Townsend warbler. Oh, they're both just phenomenal. Both of them are so sharp, so well done. The glass quality just seems phenomenal on both of the two. They're both just incredibly blurred out backgrounds. This one you have context of another kind of element in the subject. You have some foreground with that leaf, that branch coming out towards a frame, versus the other you don't have any foreground element. I'm gonna go with the common redpolls in the snow being shot with the prime, and the Townsend warbler being shot with the zoom lens. Oh, wrong again? What? I'm at a 20% success rate. Wow. I suck at this. I'm horrible at this. So the common redpolls apparently were shot with the 200 to 500 5.6 versus the Townsend warbler being shot with a 500mm 4.0. Oh my goodness. I could not tell the difference between these two. I mean, these two, especially like the first one from Bayou Josh, almost identical. I mean, it just is incredibly nitpicky to be able to pick one apart from the other. Phenomenal results on both of them. Both of them incredibly tack sharp. Both of them nice shallow depths of field and just phenomenal images. I mean, oh gosh. I mean, it's so hard to tell the difference between these things. Oh man. Yep. Well, if this didn't convince me before, it's now showing me and convincing me that, it's so largely up to how you use these lenses, so much more than it is the gear pieces themselves. I mean, the gear pieces matter, don't get me wrong, but yeah, how you use them affects it even more drastically. So fantastic job, Jamin Hunter Taylor, fantastic images. I love seeing these and excited to have him on for the podcast next week. So make sure you subscribe below so you can catch that podcast that we'll be having together next week if you aren't already subscribed. Okay, so one last set coming from Bayou Josh. I'm excited for this one. So we got a second round from him. The first set was phenomenal and just impossible to tell the difference. I mean, he completely tricked me out, making me think that the prime was undoubtedly the one of those two that I mentioned, and then it was unfortunately the other one. Just, I don't even know how that was possible. But let's see this set. So we've got one of what seems to be a mountain bluebird, and we've got one of a song sparrow. Both of these are phenomenal again. Oh goodness. Oh, I love both these images, by the way. Fantastic. Just this really shallow depth of field appearance. The depth of field looks almost identical on both of them, making this super difficult to pick apart. Both the sharpnesses look phenomenal. I have to say the mountain bluebird looks ever so slightly more sharp. And I think because of that, I'm gonna have to choose the prime on the mountain bluebird image versus the song sparrow image being shot with a zoom. So, last one, let's see if I was right. Oh my goodness, you're kidding me. You are kidding me. Oh. Okay, I give up, guys. That's game over. Ridiculous. Oh my gosh. So this just goes to show Prime versus zoom lens, what matters so much more is how you use it, not the piece of gear that you're using. Again, the piece of gear matters. All of these lenses are phenomenal. Even these zoom lenses are really great zoom lenses, so they're some of the top tiers in their classes, but man, I mean, they're worth at least half the price as most of these prime lenses, and yet I couldn't tell the difference. I'm just amazed. I honestly was expecting to get at least a 50% correct ratio in this comparison, and I wasn't even close. There you have it. Is it really that easy to spot the difference between a prime and a zoom lens in wildlife photography? You tell me in the comments below. If you want to check out another fun video like this one, check out this video here in the end screen, and I'll see you guys next time.